and welcome to beautiful Segerstrom School, where tonight San Marino travels down to Santa Anita to play a team from Orange High School. You figured that out. A lot of pageantry tonight by the Orange team. They're 9-1. San Marino comes in 4-6, Mitch. Orange has got a very good offense. They put up a lot of points this season. Their defense has been pretty good, so San Marino defensively is going to have a real challenge against a good left-handed quarterback and a running game that's been pretty powerful.
The real challenge, though, Steve, is us identifying Segerstrom from Orange, from Santa Ana. So that's going to be the bigger tough thing, because Orange, who we're playing tonight, apparently their field is under construction. So Orange chose Segerstrom at which to play this game. Beautiful facility, very sprawling facility down here in Orange County.
Yeah, it's a newer school, and I'll tell you an interesting story about Segerstrom and why we're playing here in a second.
Give it to us now.
Well, there's a short kickoff, as San Marino's aim to do. Oh, right away, number 6 takes off. And he's going to go all the way, 76 yards. Not a good way to start it. I hadn't seen that, Mitch, but that is their big runner, Galvin, I believe it is, and that's not the way Jose Mesa wanted to start this game.
Or Justin Mesa.
Oh, you're right.
Why don't you tell us that story?
Okay.
I think it's a lot better than what we just saw.
Segerstrom is like 8-2 or 9-1 or a very good record. They're playing a team that is maybe 3-7 or 4-6. I think it's Pomona. Segerstrom, because they were second in their league, and they will always run a 2-point conversion, by the way, will has to travel to Pomona, despite the fact that they have a better record, because they were second in their league.
Running play left side, and that goes in. Only 12 seconds off the clock, and Orange already leads by a score of 8-0.
Well, we've seen that before, where a team will come out. It's how we respond now, Mitch, as the orange smoke. No, I think it's asbestos. It's orange asbestos. So.
You're an attorney. Give me a card.
Well, yeah. I think if anybody gets sick, we know why. But that's I don't think they returned a touchdown this season, or a kickoff for a touchdown, but they certainly did there, and they had it drawn up right.
I did not get the yardage. It seemed to me about 65 yards.
76.
Will Slocum here with us. Thank you, Will. Will, the one paying attention. Not telling stories. 76 yards, and here we go. Orange leads by a score of 8-0 after a 2-point conversion.
Orange is a lot easier to say than Segerstrom.
I know. And with all this orange stuff flying through the air, it's amazing. I can't just say that. That's easy enough. Kind of a twirling kick, and then it'll take a hop and come to Matthew Carapetian. And Carapetian trying to return the favor, and he'll be knocked out of bounds about the 25-yard line. 16 yards rather on the
number 5, Isaac Adetor.
And look at that orange cloud can come in.
20 yards on that return.
Blowing from our right to our left, kind of from the south to the north, as we watch it here high atop the western sideline.
Now, interesting, they do not have a kicker, and in watching their game films, he kicks traditionally, the kickoff player kicks traditionally to the 10-yard line, and we were set up a little further behind that.
Excuse me if you will, I'm finishing my potato chips, Steve.
I think that's important.
Thank you very much.
Substance.
About an hour-and-a-half trip down here from San Marino on a beautiful Friday night, but we're here and we're playing football. Handoff to Single, and he will try to dive for 12 yards, and he will get that. About the 27-yard line, gain of 2 yards, that'll bring up second down and 8.
Their defensive line does a very good job protecting their linebackers. Their linebackers will set at least 5 yards off the line of scrimmage, and so it's hard to get to them, especially if you have a very active defensive line. The defensive line, not nearly as big as their offensive line, but they do a very aggressive job in keeping. Look how far back that linebacker is. He is 5-6 yards right now.
Let's hand it off
He'll
number 15,
pick up
next
about
single.
a single again, and gain of maybe a
Tackle
yard.
made
They'll
by
bring up
number
third down and
33.
7.
And their defensive backs are not that big, but they're decent athletes. And I think that depending upon how they treat Tron Gazelle, we could get a good matchup with him and break at least one long pass tonight. But it's going to depend upon giving the quarterback some protection.
Now you hear Steve going over what Orange's defense is. Steve was
Third down.
always the more
7.
prepared of the two of us. But I will say this, since his son became a starter on the offensive line
Yeah.
and has to watch all the films, and Steve, I believe, watches the films with his son Glover, we're getting a whole new element of what's going on by the defense. I appreciate it, by the way, Steve. There is a penalty flag on the play. The pass was intended for Griselle, and that'll probably be against the Panthers.
Yeah, they bumped Griselle a little too hard and a little too early there, so the Titans will pick up a first down on that. It's interesting. The Titans use, and Mike Hobby started, they use a program called Huddle. And Glover has nicely given me his password. And so I have the ability to look at the game films, and they had 4 game films from an Orange game, so you get a good idea. I don't spend a lot of time looking at it, but it's better than it's better than Max Prep, which has, you have to watch a lot of commercials to get to the material. So
Well, we're glad you watched it, Steve. Could you give us an entirely different dimension?
or dementia, whatever. Yeah.
I think we got a little bit of both. So it's going to be first down after the penalty, and there's another penalty marker, and it's going to be offsides against San Marino. Now they changed to a legal procedure against San Marino.
Yeah, someone must have moved a little bit. I didn't see it. Titans with decent field position don't want to give up that yardage. They would undoubtedly like to develop a running game, but as I say, they're going to just have to do with rhythm, and then use the pass in a secondary sense today.
Beautiful glossy orange helmets on the, not our favorite colors. They look just like South Pass in a way.
They do.
Throw by Short is complete to the right side, and that is Griselle who makes the catch. He's only going to get about a yard on the play. He took a big hit. That'll bring up second down and 9. Penalty marker on the field as well.
I don't see the penalty marker, but actually, Mitch, because they were 5 yards behind the penalty, they actually pick up 5 on that one. But
My mind is still in Florida, Steve.
well, and who could blame you? But it did look like a very short pass.
So it was a 5-yard gain. I did forget about the illegal procedure penalty. 5-yard gain gets back to the original line of scrimmage, second down and 10. Short has some pressure, rolls to his right, looks downfield, and he is going to be hit hard. That's 2 big hits by number 1, Steve.
Short knocked out of bounds from the
He
quarterback
hit
keeper.
Griselle, and now
Knocked out of
he
bounds
hit Short
number 1,
real hard. And
Adatoy.
since you have your glasses on, what's his name?
Adatove.
He's playing with an attitude. I can see that.
Yeah, their defensive line just broke through and never an opportunity to set up with that. So San Marino now in a 3rd and long position, and it's not you know the problem with the penalty, it sets you back. You want to be in a 2nd and 5 or 2nd and short.
These days they call that playing ahead of the chains or behind the
Third down
chains.
and 11.
San Marino now a little bit behind the chains on 3rd down and 11. 3 wide receivers near side, 1 to the right side. That's Griselle, I believe, by himself. Single is the running back, and he's to the left of Connor Short. And now I think we're going to get a penalty. Delay of game against San Marino. That'll be another 5 yards and bring up 3rd down and 16.
Yeah, 3 penalties now, and a kick. It's not the way Justin Mesa boarded it when he started thinking about how to play the game, because now it extends that field. Now, we've got to give him protection in this instance, so let's hope that offensive line can do a job.
So my chips are done, Steve.
Oh.
So I shouldn't be eating now for at least a quarter or so. Here's Short going to roll to his left, has good protection, looks downfield and fires, and it's incomplete. Intended for Andy Sutherland and knocked away at the very, very last second, and that'll bring up 4th down.
In anything of 3rd and 5 or more, Orange will show blitz. They won't necessarily blitz, but that time with a 3rd and 15, they obviously do it. So Short actually threw a very good pass, considering he struggles trying to throw on the run at times.
And running to his left as well, which is even more difficult. So Tron Griselle is in punt formation for San Marino. And deep for Orange is number 2. And I don't have I gotta get my glasses. Nice kick by Grizel, and that goes directly out of bounds at about the 20-yard line.
That's Andrade.
52-yard kick by Grizel, very nicely done. And that will back the Panthers up to about the 21-yard line.
And we never really talked about this, but back when it happened, but Grizel was without his long snapper for a long time this year, and he's really happy to have Cole Cribbs back, who is the long snapper, because he feels a lot more confident, and so he sets up, the appropriate limit. And Tron's a great athlete; he's a great kicker. So the fourth penalty on San Marino is Uriarte jumps off sides.
Fourth penalty in just 2 minutes and 21 seconds. It's not a flying start to tonight's ball game with that many penalties. And there's a running play up the middle, very little there. Nice job by the Titans defense.
Number 5, Isaac Adetoy.
That is Adetoy, the ball carrier. And he getting up the bottom of the pile. Who is that? That's number 74, Seth Canule. Gain of 5 yards. I take that back. No gain on the play. Second down and 5.
Good job by Seth. He just held him up at the line. They got some big offensive linemen, and they run some funky setup here.
Fake handoff, quarterback keeper, and this is going to get a first down for Orange. Knocked out of bounds by number 25, Long, but that's going to be a first down for the Panthers.
He will run the ball a lot. He's got a good read. He does a very good job managing that run, and you'll see him pick up a lot of yards on the ground. I'm going to look that up, what he's done on the season, but it's been very effective for him.
First down, another keeper by the quarterback, and he keeps it to the left, now winding his way around, and he's going to go down with a slide after a gain of about 4, maybe 5 yards on the play. Johannes Zerina, number 13, in on the play. Chris Leung, number 3, also there. And that'll bring up second down and about 6.
Yeah, Mitch, he's picked up close to 800 yards on the ground this year. And for a guy who purportedly has thrown 23 touchdowns, and by the way, I don't believe that number because the stats they don't have that many receiving touchdowns, but yet he's thrown it, so it's.
Adetoy in motion, and the quarterback's going to keep it, pitch it to Adetoy, and he takes a big hit right in front of San Marino's bench. I think that's Seth Matsumoto. Big stick on Adetoy, or Hargade, I take that back. And that's going to be a gain of about 2 yards on the play. That'll bring up third down and about 3. Good job by the Titan defense. Let's see if we can hold him here.
Yeah, it was. It was actually Jackson Herring that stepped up. Because I saw him over there moving his head and his shoulder, and that's my guess. It could have been Matsumoto for mine, but
if that's the case, then both the PA announcer and I got it wrong.
Well,
usually that's the case because I'm both.
Yeah.
And here's a handoff, and this is going to be another good corner, and that will be Matsumoto who finally makes the tackle, but not until the 23-yard line, first down for the Panthers.
I didn't get what's the name of that truck? He is 26.
26, right.
Rivera.
Nice run by Rivera, and that gives the Panthers a first down. Excuse me, at the 23-yard line. Clock running. We're down to 6 minutes and 43 seconds left to play in the first quarter. That's Rivera again. Penalty marker is down on the field. Johannes Zerina, number 13, makes the tackle, and coming up to also help is number 2, Nico Mavridis, and that's going to go against the Panthers.
Yeah, I think they're finally going to catch the offensive lineman that is playing against Uriarte on a hold. He seems to slip his arm up inside, and Uriarte does a good job showing with the hold that it's happening. So that'll move them back.
Holding against Orange. Boy, with that big S on the field, I just want to say Segerstrom.
Or Superman.
Superman. San Francisco, it does look like the Giants logo.
It kind of does.
Or, sorry, 49ers logo.
The Santa Clara 49ers?
Exactly, the Levi's 49ers. So the penalty moves the ball back to the 37-yard line, and they need to get all the way down to the 14, so so that's going to be 1st and 23. Here's Rivera near side, and Matsumoto, number 16 with the tackle. Mavrides also there.
Ball is handed off to number 6,
And that will
Isaac
be
Galvin.
a gain of about
Stop
4
made
yards.
number
on the play.
16, Seth Matsumoto.
I tell you, Seth Matsumoto, he is he's just ball hungry. He goes wherever it is, shows a lot of speed, and can make a lot of solo tackles. He's really, really a great linebacker. And the Titans will miss him next year. There's no question about it.
So here we go. 2nd down and 21. George back to throw. Little slip screen. And that's going to pick up about 10, maybe 11 yards. That's
Complete to number 6, Isaac Galvin.
Isaac Galvin. And that will bring up another 11.
You know, that great call, a long call. You're either going to go a draw or a screen, and Titans bought into that, but did a good job actually keeping the damage to a minimum because he had just blockers in front of him.
3rd down and 11.
3rd and 11 for the Panthers, and they split 3 wide receivers to the left and 1 to the bottom of your screen. George hands off to Galvin, and he breaks 2 tackles, and then he does not get back past Nick Single nor number
Hands off to
24,
number 6, Isaac
Jackson
Galvin.
Heron, and that will be
Number
bring up
24,
a
Jackson
4th
Heron on the
down
stop.
for the Panthers.
You know, Jackson Heron has really come on as a
Oh,
defender.
my gosh.
I tell you, when and I think he's put on some weight and some muscle, but when, I saw him last year and they'd have him out there alone on the corner and you'd be concerned about him, but he's really stepped up.
Sure has. Couple guys, many guys in this program have really, really improved. Maybe as much as anybody is Zara, who did not play
Oh, yeah.
football last year, came back this year, and he has just been a defensive beast for San Marino, and the Titans hold. So San Marino stops on a 4th and short, and the Titans will get the ball at the 14-yard
Oh,
line.
no, now they're going to measure it, but we got screwed on a mark here, I think.
Well, they're not going to measure. San Marino's offense
Oh.
is on the field, and
Then you're right. I thought he had called timeout on him.
well, the Titans hold after a nice drive by the Panthers.
No, they are.
Now they are going to measure. That's kind of interesting. They let
You're
both
getting there. I
the
like it. I
offense
like
and the
it.
defense run on the field, and now they decide to measure. Fascinating. Wouldn't it be something if the offense and defense had
Oh, they got a bad.
There was a measurement.
They got a really. Oh, and now they called it on Mesa, a 15-yard penalty. He's doing the right thing. He's saying, listen, that was a bad mark, and that was. I can't wait back and take a look at it because it appeared that he was a good half yard to a yard short.
Sportsmanlike conduct.
unsportsmanlike
Against the
conduct
Titans.
against San Marino. And it looked to me as well like the Titans held, and the Orange defense ran on the field, the Titan offense ran on the field, and all of a sudden they had this sort of phantom measurement, and Orange gets the 1st down.
They even flipped the box. They went to 1st down, and I don't know if they moved the chains as a result. I don't know if they did or not, but Mesa's right to be upset about it.
So 1st down for the Panthers, and they have the distance, move the ball all the way down to about the 14-yard line.
Ball is
And
handed
none of
off
it
to number
matters
6,
because
Isaac Galvin.
Galvin is in the end zone.
Into the end zone
Touchdown.
for a Panther touchdown.
Well, that's tough. After you think you get a stop, and then they give the questionable placement, and ultimately get the 1st down. I do think the Titans were robbed there, but you got to bounce back. You got to get ready for the next play.
Well, I think that call messed up everybody because the Orange Marching Band is playing the San Marino Fight Song. So as Steve says, the Panthers will go for 2, and they will get the 2-point conversion.
Driver hands off to number 26. Jeremiah Hill. 2-point conversion is good. 6:30 remaining in the first quarter.
Mitch, they will go the left side almost every 2-point conversion, either with a running back or a quarterback. And so you'd think we'd be able to figure that out. But
They're 2 for 2 right now.
Yeah.
Both of them have been over the left side, and each time number 26 has basically strolled into the end zone for the 2-point conversion.
while Mesa's trying to tell him you're You're 7.5 minutes down in the game, and you're down by 16.
He's already trying to tell him, control your tempers, guys. Come on.
Yeah.
You know, this is a tough task for San Marino to beat these guys. But, you know, I have to say, Justin Mace has done a great job.
He has really
hold this team together after that 0-5 start, I believe it was, or 1-4 start. And, you know, and we always knew that we're going to have some winnable games coming up in league, but he was able to keep San Marino focused on those league games. And, you know, a very understandable loss to Monrovia, and then sweeping through against South Pasadena, La Cunada, and then Temple City. And you can see the spirit of the team just building and building and building. And they've come into this game, you know, believing they can win this. It's going to be a tough task for them.
Well, it is, and they do believe they can win this, and they should still. I mean, it's still early, but you're right, Mitch. Mesa, he had very few tools to deal with. There was a program change that he was not supportive of with regard to weightlifting, and I've gone off on that before, and yet his focus was on league. He wanted to win league. He said that's what our focus is. They came up a game short, but given the experience that this ball club had,
handoff, rather than take that back short, keeps the ball, and he will
Corner
dive
short on the quarterback
for
keeper for the Titans.
less than a yard, and then I'll bring up second down and 9.
yeah, he's got to get a better read on that because it didn't look. It looked like the running back had a better opportunity outside than he did inside. But Short, being a senior, wants to carry this team on his shoulders, and I think that's natural.
So, Steve, I forgot my fake tooth and I forgot my glasses. I'm lucky to have made it here at all. So excuse the lisping and excuse the misidentification of the other players as well. Short throws, a little slant route to Grizel. Grizel goes to the ground, and he says he has it. A couple of the Orange defenders say no, and the back judge will mark Grizel down at the 44-yard line, and that'll bring up third down and about 2.
Which raises an interesting question. When have you ever seen a defensive back say, yeah, he caught it? Yeah, that was a good catch, son.
Or when there's a fumble, they say, yep, the other team has it.
Yeah, that's
Oh, it's theirs.
yeah.
Third down and 3.
Third down and 2 for San Marino. Short, the quarterback. Behind him to his left is Single. To his left is Grizel, 2 wide receivers and a flanker to the right. I believe that's Prappus at the wing. And there's a pass complete. Sutherland has running room. The defensive back took a chance and tried to jump the route, and Sutherland makes the catch and gets all the way down to the 28-yard line. First down, San Marino.
Again, and that is a situation where they're looking at Grizel, or they're looking at Prappus, or they're even looking at Carpeton, and you've got a perfectly fine receiver in Sutherland who's really come on the last 3 weeks to get the ball and pick up that first down.
And as you will see if you run this back, the defensive back on that side tried to undercut the route and knock the ball away. Sutherland able to grab it and take off downfield. First down, right to the 28-yard line.
And you would know better than I do, but that's a difficult catch with somebody coming in your zone.
Sure is. I know, because as a defensive back, I saw guys make that catch behind me all the time. Pass incomplete intended for Grizel. That'll bring up second down.
From
As we
Grizel falls
play here
incomplete.
the first quarter, 2:46 to go.
Number 10, Christian
And
Trujillo
Segerstrom
defending on the
already
play.
up 16-0. They ran back the opening kickoff, and then they had a what we believe is a poor judgment added drive that led to another touchdown.
Yeah, I would call it something else, but I believe
Family show.
family. Both of them.
Exactly. Beautiful night here in Orange County, however. I'm guessing we're, maybe 6-8 miles from the Pacific Ocean?
Yeah.
Something of that sort. Hand off to Single, tries left tackle. That play was very slow to develop, and the Panther defense made San Marino pay for their tardiness, and that's going to be a loss of about a yard.
Excuse me as I look at my son, who seems to be gingerly holding his left arm. That's okay. That's not his snapping hand.
Snapping hand.
Yeah, that play. You're right, Mitch. That just kind of took a long time to develop.
Sure did. Loss of a yard on the play brings up third down and 11. Clock running. We're down to 2 minutes and 10 seconds now left to go in the first quarter.
Well, he hustled the line, so.
Short, straight drop right side, incomplete. Off the fingertips of Karapetian, and he was wide open, well schemed, and he's done a great job this year. You know, Matthew Karapetian wanted to be the featured tailback.
Right.
And I know earlier in the season there's a little frustration that he wasn't getting as much playing time there as he wanted to, but he's moved into this kind of a slot receiver and running back position and just been a dynamo for the Titans.
Well, and it has, and it really he is obviously a smaller player, and it really dealt with his ability to block some of the defensive ends and the linebackers. Yet they found the perfect spot for him.
Sure did, and Nick Single has become that every down workhorse back, and Karapetian has become the receiving back. Pass, and that's going to be incomplete. Looked like Grizel was, I won't know, interfered with, but at least held up, and that's not something I don't call very often. That's going to bring up fourth down. Take that back. The Panthers take over on downs. That was fourth down.
Yeah, they did. It did look like he
Can we get a measurement?
yeah. now that it's moved, yeah. No, the ball was laid out there for him. It was good defense. They just kind of bumped him a little bit. Nothing that's going to draw a flag. And Tron didn't seem to be complaining that much. So let's hope we can get a stop here and turn the ball back over.
First and 10 for the Panthers. They will snap it from their own 28-yard line. Spread formation with one running back next to the quarterback. That's George. Handoff. That's Rivera. Rivera with some running room. Rivera with a clear back to the end zone. One man to beat. Rivera, 10, 5, touchdown, Orange. 71 yards. Titans running themselves down now. 22-0 with the pending 2 points.
And I will tell you, there was 3 Titans right there, 57. Their offensive lineman took them all out. He's paying for it now, but there was a block in there that knocked down 3 Titans.
And once again, I'm sure it's just a show, but Orange playing like San Marino Titans after they score. It's very nice that they
It is very curious.
So Steve says they run left on 2-point conversions. They've done it twice. Let's see if they do it now.
No.
Fool us and run right up the middle, and lo and behold, the Titans are able to stack it up. Johannes Zerahun, number 13, is there. 2-point conversion is no good, and the score remains 22-0.
Maybe they should have a measurement on that.
Let's do it. Yeah. Single also in on the play, and so the Titans will get the ball back. Minute 35 left to go here in the first quarter.
I'm either that was that a school horn or. Well, you know, the Titans need to score. If they get a score now, they stay in the game. But if they turn that ball back over, Segerstrom, who's scored a lot of points this season.
Segerstrom has.
Pardon me, Orange.
More right now in Pomona.
Orange. Maybe I'm just thinking of last year's opening CIF round where we beat Segerstrom, didn't we?
Do you remember the score of the game?
No, I don't.
Will was telling me that he thinks that Will last year when we played Segerstrom in the playoffs, he said they went for 2
along with Andrew Sutherland.
and we won that. And that's why we won the game. I remember the team. I remember the uniforms. I remember the whole thing. I don't remember the play. All the way back to the 2-yard line is Karapetian. He takes it back right up the middle, slants to his right, and he's down about the 29-yard line. Nice tackle by the special teams player who kind of grabbed him and kind of judoed him to the ground. And so the Titans will have the ball first and 10 at the 29-yard line.
Yeah, and Karapetian saying, wait a minute, he grabbed me around the helmet. And the question is, did he get a part of the face mask? But they obviously didn't call it, so maybe he asked for a measurement. They wouldn't give it to him. It's going to be my thing all night, by the way.
Sure is, and for good reason.
Boy, big plays by Orange tonight. Just 2 huge ones have just put a knife in the Titans.
First and 10, San Marino, ball at the 29-yard line. Short quarterback, 3 wide receivers to the bottom of your screen. Hand off to Single, and he tries to cut something off left tackle. And boy, Steve, you're exactly right. That formation they use, those linebackers are behind the line of scrimmage. That gives them some movement and an ability to kind of read, and they're very, very quick to get to the point of attack.
They are, and the key is getting your offensive linemen to the second level to where the linebackers are, but the Titans are struggling being able to do that.
Second down, and that was a gain of about a yard. Second down and 9. Clock running, 54 seconds left to go in the first quarter. Segerstrom leads. There we go. Where's the jar?
Yeah.
We need a jar every time we call him by the wrong name. Orange leads by a score of 22-0. And man-to-man press coverage, and now we've got a penalty marker on the field, and they're going to say
Flag before the play.
offsides against the Panthers. Number 1 was offsides on the alignment, I believe, and that'll be a 5-yard penalty against Orange.
Offsides.
They move the ball to
Panthers.
the 35-yard line, and that will bring up second down and 4.
And one's got hair like you too, Mitch.
Does he or
Yeah.
she? Okay. I like it. I say or she. We had a frost-off game before I left town a couple weeks ago, and we played La Cañada, and they had a girl kicker, and she was 5 for 5 on extra points. And she had a beautiful head of hair, but she chose to tuck it up under her hat, or her helmet, rather. And there's a handoff to Single, and he dives forward for a couple yards on the play, and that'll bring up third down and about 3 for the Titans.
Yeah, and they're just very quick on the line. And we're having a little problem being able to do something in this first quarter ends. But Orange has got about 36, 35 players on their team. They've got some heavyweights. They play a pretty balanced schedule. And they just play very well as a team. They really do. They're very disciplined, and they just play very well as a team.
Yeah.
Have they thrown the ball yet? Will, have they thrown the ball yet? Yeah. No, I'm talking about Orange at all.
So we head to the second quarter. Big ball, third down and 3. They'll snap it from their own 36-yard line. Big play if the Titans want to get back into this contest. Quick flip to Karapichian. He actually has to give up ground trying to get some, and he is going to be brought down behind the line of scrimmage. Back at the 31-yard line, that's going to bring up 4th and long.
And there were 9 Segerstrom players around that, and that is they are very much of a hustle to the ball team.
If you add the 9 Segerstrom players to the 9 from Orange.
Did I just say Segerstrom again? God darn it.
There's almost no chance that we're going to
throw a flag on that.
Too many men on the field. Not even close.
Okay, orange, 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 orange.
It's okay. It's okay.
See, the problem is
It just is right in your head.
there's nothing that rhymes with orange. Maybe that's my problem.
So I know what rhymes with punt.
Yeah.
And the Titans are going to have to do it again. And this is Grizel, and he gets off a nice end-over-end kick, and that takes the San Marino bounce until it stops taking a San Marino bounce. And it's going to be down to the 36-yard line. First down for the
First and 10 Panthers.
33-yard kick by Grizel. Orange has about 31 cheerleaders, Steve. They kind of use a 3-stack formation with the Song Girls in the front, in case you were.
Yeah, but those are song girls in the front because they. Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, they're tough. They look tough. They look like they moved to the cheerleading position rather fast.
Very well organized. They've got sort of a DJ down on the field behind the bench.
Oh wow.
And here's another big gainer for the Panthers. And that's going to get all the way inside the 45-yard line.
Ball is handed off to number 2, Andre
And that's going to
Andrade.
bring up first down. Andrade with
Tackle
the
made by number 15, Nick Single.
Pardon me?
14 for San.
That's good enough for a Panther.
Oh gosh, is that? I don't know who's 14. Is that Prappus tonight or
I don't know. He's
18?
usually 16. No, 18. See if I see an 18 out there. And here's a running play, and still very, very shaky. These guys don't go down easy at all. And that will will lose about 6 yards on the play. Single
Number
there.
5,
Also
Isaac
Nico
Adetoy.
Ruiz, and number 25, that's long.
Tackle made by Nick
And that
Singhal.
will bring up
Nick Singhal.
second down and about 17 yards.
Rodriguez.
Yeah, you're right. I saw him make a move on that long run that he had where he left 2 guys behind with 1 step. And that time he tried to do a little too much.
Second down and 17.
I think that might be Michael Prappis wearing number 14. If not, we will try to find out. Here's a nice play by Heron, and that will pick up
Ball is
about
handed off to
7
Andre
yards
Andrade.
by Andrade for Orange, and that'll bring up
Tackle
third
made by
down
number
and 10.
24, Jackson Heron.
Nice hit by Heron, kind of flipped Andrade over.
Well, when you got a player like that, you got to aim for his hips or his legs because he's not going down if you hit him up top.
Third down and 11.
Little trickeration. We're going to see the first pass, and it's going to be caught, tipped, and finally brought in. And Christopher Leon makes the tackle, but
Number
not
5, Isaac Adetoy.
Altroy gets a first down for the Panthers.
He was wide open. There was a blown coverage, probably on a linebacker on that side. You don't get that wide open typically, and
We almost can't blame the defense. That's the first pass, and there was a lot of double play action. So seeing the first pass attempt was a little bit stunning to our defense. Here's Rivera, and Rivera will break 1 tackle before he's caught by Johannes Zerahan.
Hands off to number 6,
Gain of
Isaac
about 3
Galvin.
yards on the play, and that'll bring
Tackle
up
made by number 13,
second
Johannes
down and
Zerahan.
7. Galvin running the ball carrier.
they are owning the edge right now, and we can't do anything about it.
Timeout, Titans.
And Mesa wants to have a little chat about it. They're really just owning the edge.
So Justin Mesa takes a timeout. We'll take it with them. 8:34 to go in the first half.
Where will we go? Out?
Yes. 22-0. Your drive down here, Steve, how did it take you to get here? This is not a great destination.
No. I left at about 3:30 and got down here at about 10:05. I knew it was going to take time, and I wanted to go to the booster party, fearing it might be the last of the year.
We got water on the field, but we need some juice box.
At the Red Robin, about a half mile
I think
away.
y'all were louder than that. Let's go again. Juice box. I think these guys are louder over here, right?
I
What about you
don't
guys?
understand their whole
Oh,
juice box thing.
come on. Juice box. Let's go. Let's go.
Is juice box some kind of a code word talking to our producer here, trying to get some info, and there's a handoff up the middle, and that will be another first down for the Panthers, all the way down
Isaac
inside
Galvin,
the
the ball
10-yard
carrier for the
line.
Panthers.
Galvin, the ball carrier, brought
Tackle
down
made
by
by number
Heron,
13,
number
Johannes
24,
Zerahan.
and Zerahan, number 13, and
That
Karusha
rush is
Shibi
good
also
enough
in
for a
on the play,
Panther.
but not
First
until
down.
the Panthers get a first and goal.
Yeah, their offensive line is very quick too. We're just not. They were able to get to the second level and make a play on our
It
linebackers.
looks like we haven't seen their best stuff yet, and we may see it right here. Oh, nice play by number 24, Heron again.
Ball is
Another
handed off to
tackle.
number 2, Andrew Andrade.
And that's Andrade, and he
Stop made by
will
number
elway
24,
down to
Jackson
about
Heron.
the 2-yard line, and it'll be third and goal.
A-
Second and goal, right?
As well as Jackson Herring is tackling, really we don't want to be calling his name that often. You want to call the name of our linemen or our linebackers.
Number 1.
Second and goal from about the 1-yard line. And there's a handoff up the middle, and the Panthers are in the end zone again. Galvin on there, 2 yards. And the Panthers are on the board again, 28-0. As Steve mentioned, and we'll see if they go back, because they went over the left side of the offensive line twice. They were able to get the 2-point conversion on both times. They tried it up the middle the last time. San Marino
Panthers going
stuffed
for
them.
2.
So we'll see if they go back to the left side. Hand off, and they go back to the left side. penalty marker on the field. The running back is 82.
26 in the end zone. There's a flag on the play.
It's against the which it probably is.
Yeah, I was thrown in that location where there's offensive holding, and Karusha CB came up and said it looked like they were holding me.
I've never seen a defensive lineman say, "Oh no, they were
Yeah,
holding
no, that wasn't him.
They were holding him. Yeah. I was holding him." So that will move the ball back to about the 11-yard line. And is this their kicker out, number 76? I think they might try an extra point, Steve. 76 is the guy who kicked off. So they're going to now try the extra point. Did you say he kicked in a traditional fashion straight on? It looks like he does.
No, there he goes. Yeah.
Slides away and offsets for the soccer style kick, as it used to be called. Snap is down, kick is up, and it is wide to the right. So the score remains Orange 28, Segerstrom 27, and San Marino 0.
Yeah. Pomona 8.
Pomona out there somewhere.
Probably
could have played both games right here.
Why isn't he kicking regularly? I mean, do they just like that 2 point? They look at the average and say nobody can stop us from 3 yards, so we might as well go for it. Nope.
An interesting announcement that in my 24 years I've never made. They said, since this is not our stadium, please clean it up. We don't want to leave it a mess. I think next year I'm going to say that. Hey, this is our stadium. We don't want to mess it up.
Yeah, please.
Clean up, would you please? So, deep for San Marino is number 2, Nico Mavridis, and also number 11, that is Sutherland.
Ball is kicked into the end zone, touchback. Ball be placed at the 20-yard line, first and 10 tight.
To the 20-yard line, first down, San Marino.
Yeah, that's interesting. They changed out those guys.
I've not seen Mavridis return a kick all year.
No.
I think I've seen Sutherland back there maybe once.
Yeah. And they'll use Grizel occasionally. They'll use Grizel a lot on punt returns because his hands are so good.
So the Titans with 80 yards between their offense and the orange end zone. Let's see if San Marino can get on the board. We are threatening the running clock here at some point.
Oh, boy, are we.
We have got 7:39 to go in the first half. Not even halfway through the first half, second quarter rather. And San Marino down by 28 points. Short throws, and he is slow to get up. It was a grab for Grizel, and that'll bring up second and 10.
Well, number 75, the center for San Marino, did a lookout block on that one. And it was that guy that got in, and number 12 took care of it didn't affect the pass, but certainly might have rushed it a bit.
Second down and 10 for the Titans. 4 wide receivers set for the Titans, 3 rather, and a slot back to the left. Handoff single, and he's caught behind the line of scrimmage again. Fumble on the play, it looks like. Or did Single get away?
Ball is handed off to number 15, Nick Single.
Single was able to get through the
Stop
first
number 32,
wave
Blaze
of
Iglesias.
defense, and he's actually going to pick up maybe 2 yards on the play.
Yeah, good hustle by Single. Single's a tough kid. I look forward to watching him next year as well. Does he play other sports? Do we know?
I don't know. I will ask that question at the banquet next Thursday. Or this
Upcoming Thursday, yes.
So, third down and 8 for the Titans. Short checking with the alignment on the right side of the offense. That is Grizel. Moved him around, claps his hands, wants to throw, fires downfield, nobody home. It looks like Grizel's cut the route short. Now Grizel asking for wondering about the contact. Also, there was Mavridis offensively, and they both have questions on the official. And the answer is it's 4th down, boys.
Yeah, and that's tough. You got 3rd and long. They're coming. You know they're coming, and you can't. You got to stop the 3rd and long situations. But right now, we're just not doing anything about it.
So Grizel is in punt formation, and they're returning is going to set up right at midfield. Titans have a late entry into the and I think San Marino is going to take a timeout.
Timeout, Titans. 6:35
One of our
in the first
coverage
half.
men was a little bit late, made what we like to call the walk of shame.
Yes.
And San Marino had to take the timeout. So timeout on the field. We have got 6:35 left to play in the first half. And Orange High School playing here at Segerstrom High School is leading San Marino by a score of 20.
Following the official football CIF Southern section. Colvin clear the Gatorade, Heston in the lab, moving on the field. Gatorade first pressure, the Prison Sports Field of CIF Southern section Ford Football Championships. Fox Sports West, the official home of CIF Southern section this season.
And they have one of those. You think the Titans should get one of those blow-up helmets?
Yeah.
No. It's not my thing either.
I'm a little bit of a traditionalist. I'm not a big fan.
No, it must be an Orange County thing.
I think it's a real Orange County. They brought it all the way down here, too.
I know.
I mean, that's not something that I don't think that they leave, locked up in a storage shed in the corner all year. And there's a kick by Grizel, and that will go out of bounds and land out of bounds.
Ball kicked out of bounds.
41-yard line. So another short field. 19 yards.
Ball is placed at the 41-yard line.
Okay, let's see if we get a stop. That's the start. Start with a stop. There looked to be a little extra movement there.
Handoff on a reverse, and that is going to be another big gainer for Orange, and that's going to be a touchdown. He says he's not down, and into the end zone is number 5.
Did he spin him over his body?
He must have landed on his body because he just stayed right up and was able to go into the end zone. The official right there did not call him down. Touchdown for Orange.
Can we ask for a measurement?
Yeah, we can ask for it. So yet another touchdown. And the Panthers will line up to go for 2 again. So they have scored 5 touchdowns. They have made 2 two-point conversions. And this one is no good. They tried it to the left side again, and so the score remains 34-0, a point short of the running clock, but something tells me they might get it sooner or later anyway. So, Steve, it sounds like you guys had a nice time while I was in Florida last Friday. Big win for San Marino.
It was a big win, but we did miss you dearly.
Missed you guys as well.
And it was, for the last game of the regular season to get a pretty decent crowd there. And my 1974 team was honored, and we had 21, 22 guys there.
Wow.
Yeah,
very
so
nice.
It was very nice.
Did you recognize any of them?
I recognized all of them.
Did they recognize you?
Oh, yeah.
Of course they did.
But, on Facebook.
Exactly.
I'm Facebook friends with a lot of them. And
in fact, you probably got votes for mayor from most of them.
They said they would vote for me.
Even the ones that didn't live here, right?
Most of them don't, no.
Well, good. Steve, by the way, I want to point out, was reelected to San Marino City
Thank you,
Council.
Mitch. Thank you.
Congratulations. And due to I'm not sure if it's a state or federal statute where they want to align the elections better so that most elections, they want to get them on the time that there are bigger state or federal elections and presidential elections. Here's a nice return by, is that Mavridis? It is, no, it's James Aguilera, and he gets the ball out across the 30-yard line. So what Steve got a bonus year, so you have a 5-year term coming
I did.
up.
It's a state law, and they changed it. And they gave us the option, I think it was 2 years ago, of either extending our then-present term a year or changing this to 5 years. And I said, listen, we were elected for 4 years. We can't just unilaterally extend it 1 year. and fortunately it worked out.
Well, how sporting of you, Steve. It
Well,
is.
yeah.
And so you made sure that people knew they were electing you for an extra year, which is a smart thing to do. And Steve and our current mayor, Dr. Stephen Huang, were victorious. There was a write-in candidate who did not get a ton of votes, and so Steve and Steve are back for 5 years.
I think if you measure all of them, the votes might be closer to a couple ounces.
There you go. So that is a handoff to Single, and he's going to get a yard on the play, and that'll bring up 2nd down and 9.
We just can't get any rhythm going offensively tonight.
Not at all.
And they're very, we can't run outside of them because their linebackers are coming up and making the plays, and we're not getting the push up front that we need in order to run the ball up the middle.
And kind of shows that a lot of our offense is based on how we do running the football.
We do, yeah.
We throw the ball well if we're running the ball well, and we are not running the ball well right now. So we're very predictable when we're going to throw the football. There's a handoff to Single, and he is going to be smothered again at the line of scrimmage, if not behind a touch, and that's going to bring up 3rd down and long.
Ball's handed off, number 15 gets to go.
Yeah, they're just quicker than us. They are they're a very disciplined defense. You don't see them making too many mistakes. There's not guys out of position. Of course, we really haven't challenged them that much in the air. Because they're not that big defensively.
No, not at all. But as you say, very, very quick. 3rd and long for San Marino, 3rd and 9. Clock is running, 4:33 to go. First half, Titans trail 34-0. Throw by Short, picked up by number 14, Prappis. Prappis tries to work his way back against the grain, and he will be brought down after a gain of about 4 yards.
Now what do you do here? You're down by 35, 34. They're going to punt. It looked like he had a better chance on the outside, but the ball was thrown a little bit behind him. And so he had to maneuver back across the middle, see if he could pick up some blocks. And Segerstrom, Orange they're like, there was a couple things that ran through my mind, but they're like bees to honey or something like that.
This is our 5th or 6th punt by Grizel, I believe. We don't keep statistics for that, but at least the 5th punt.
There's an app for that.
Yeah. Nice snap. Grizel gets off a kick off the side of his foot, and luckily it takes a bounce. I will say the good news is that it was enough for a 1st down.
This is what we call the wheels are off. And you just want to get to halftime with 3:24 and try to figure out something. Opening kickoff.
Let's go make some noise.
I think actually the Orange crowd was bored.
No, you guys. See that?
I think you're right. They have to keep yelling juice box for some reason. Why, we don't know.
Yeah,
Oh, they have a juice box down there. Okay, got it. Another running play, and this will get about 7 or 8 yards on the play. Andrade, the ball carrier. 2 flags come in after the tackle was made, so we'll see what those are all about.
Was it a block below the knees?
Looked like there was a little bit of extracurricular activity.
Oh.
And we do have a personal foul against Orange. See if they double that up with one against San Marino.
No.
They don't, so it's going to go only against the Panthers.
Penalty is against the Panthers.
15-yard penalty from the spot of the infraction. That'll move the ball back
All right, when I say
to about the 45-yard line or so.
Ready? Juice box. See, y'all juice box now. Good job. We just combined it
They
together.
have a DJ, don't they?
They have a DJ down there.
Make some noise for your Panthers,
They also
please.
did. It's an Orange County thing. They had one at Newport Harbor as well. They had a
Oh.
DJ. Yeah, they were on the other side of the field. Thankfully,
I remember that game though. They looked like they were having a lot of fun.
yeah, they were. At our expense.
Well, yeah, when you get
Handoff on the reverse, and this is Andrade again, and he will be knocked out of bounds. Nice aggressive tackle made by number 16. That is Seth Matsumoto. Christopher Leung also in on the play, and that will get the ball back to the 35-yard line and bring up 3rd down and 5. Maybe 2nd and 5. 3rd down and 5, that was it. Orange quickly back to the line of scrimmage with 2:55 to go. They're running a lot out of this sort of a fake formation where the quarterback stands. It's almost like a reverse Statue of Liberty.
Yeah.
They run guys in either direction, and he hands it off to the one that he wants to, or it's predetermined. Very, very short gain on the play. In fact, I take it back. That's a 5-yard loss on the play. Brings up 4th and 11.
It's almost like they run 2 slots, but the slots end up. Look at how they are. They're lining. Oh, now they're going to go out, but a lot of times they're lying over the tackles, facing each other.
Sort of like that Bloomington offense.
Yeah,
it is. 4th and 11, and the Panthers are going to go for it. George, the quarterback, he's left-handed, and now he had too many questions, and he's going to call a timeout.
You know, the Bloomington, one of the Bloomington offense has their linemen all stacked in. They have regular splits, or at least semi-regular splits here. It's just different because they also will have their wideouts. So when I was looking at the film, I was trying to remember that offense, and it is Bloomington, but they run it kind of differently and very effectively because they have a lot of moving parts. Well, at least they're playing a song we should know, the Bee Gees. Oh, with a little kind of special mix.
Not a huge crowd from San Marino, and that's a 4th and 11 play, and the quarterback keeps it, and the Titans will hold. So San Marino will get the ball back after Seth Matsumoto makes the tackle. San Marino gets the ball back. 2:05 to go in the first half.
One of the drummers dropped his drums. That's not good. He may not be able to hit one of those beats now.
Have to add that to the bond measure.
Yeah. They always. No, they actually spent a lot of money in Orange and in all their school districts' fields, and that's how the new Tom Kelly or whatever the it's like Tom Hall Stadium is being rebuilt.
Huh. You know, I wonder why they didn't play this at Chapman College, which is right across the street.
Well,
beautiful field.
And
Beautiful
they've
stadium.
played some of their games there before.
Back to throw is short, looking downfield for Grizel, and they finally are able to pair up. First down, San Marino. Ball marked at about the 25-yard line. 34 yards on the completion from short to Grizel.
And that time he had time, and that helped. He was able to set his feet, let Tron get some space. He left it a little short, but Tron was able to come up with it. And he was kind of bumped a little bit, but come down with it. He does a very good job. Tron's got great hands. He made a catch last week, and I don't know if you saw the film, along the San Marino sidelines, or towards the San Marino sidelines. It was fabulous.
I saw a good part of the film. I don't recall that, however. I did kind of fast forward through it some. I only listened to the parts where you said that Mitch was in Florida at his mom's memorial service. Single the ball carrier, and he will get the ball down to about the 23-yard line, gain of about 4 yards, and that'll bring up 2nd down and 7.
The only way you would remember it is if you look at the sideline view, you will see the back judge fall flat on his face trying to get downfield.
All right, I'll run it back and look for that.
Yeah, you should look. It was earlier in the game.
2nd down for the Titans. 45 seconds, not a minute. Just 45 seconds left to go. Short in trouble, rolls, escapes, looks downfield and throws. And is that intercepted? No. incomplete, intended for Sutherland. And Sutherland, a couple guys have lost their footing here, Steve. I wonder if, I don't think it's wet, but it might be a different type of a field turf surface. Don't know.
Yeah, if you're accustomed to one thing and they have it, I didn't walk on the field beforehand, so I don't know, but you're right. But it is damper down here. The humidity is always greater closer to the beach, and you could feel the humidity. There's a wetness to the air down here. So,
no, that's orange powder.
Maybe they slipped on it. We'll call for a measurement.
That's right. 3rd down and 6 for the Titans. Short straight drop back, wants to throw. Far side, has a man, incomplete. Intended for Grizel. Grizel wants interference. Coverage by Andrade, or Adetoy, I take that back. Adetoy looks like he gives up about a foot to Grizel, but he was right on Grizel. And that'll bring up 4th down.
And Grizel looked to try to catch it against his chest as opposed to with his hands, and that might be as a result of the ball being a little slippery, but he couldn't come up with it there, and will be interesting to see if we go back to it. Because the matchup is good for the Titans.
Sure is. 4th down for San Marino. 31 seconds left to go in the second quarter. Short making sure that everyone is in the alignment that he wants them in. That's Prappus in motion. Short back to throw. Has Prappus out of the, and see there's another slip, Steve.
And look at how bad that mark is.
And now they're going to say it's incomplete. Oh no, he made the incomplete motion. And now they're going to give the ball to Orange.
Yeah, it was a bad mark. He had
now look seriously. Now I'm serious. It looks like we should have a measurement. Looks very close.
Well, they already called it. They already moved the chains. But they had a bad mark.
Well, they did that earlier too.
Yeah.
Though.
No, it's
wow.
But you're right, Mitch. He fell again. So it's.
Wonder if it's the surface. Now, I'm looking at this surface, and it looks different. And I remember I don't see as many black pellets as what I'm used to seeing.
Yeah.
And I wonder if it's one that uses a different type of a composition.
Like the white cork?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
And we had this at Bell Gardens where guys were getting hurt last year, if you remember. So not sure if this is a replacement turf or what, but we have a hard time keeping our feet. Now we're going to get a timeout by Orange with 11 seconds left to go in the first half.
Well, the South Pass, the Bell Gardens field is just improperly padded. It is, and it's a worn fill, and it's like they went real cheap with it. And I remember it probably cost, what was it? Who was the quarterback last year? He got hurt in that game as a result. Clayton Wentz. Gone a year, and I forgot about him already. Starring for PCC right now. In case you're wondering, we do get the ball to start the second half.
So Orange, very interestingly, calls a timeout with 11 seconds left to go, and the ball at their own 18-yard line. So I wonder if they got some kind of a tricky thing, and they try a little screen pass, and it's snuffed out immediately by Seth Matsumoto. So they brought these 3 wide receivers and just ran them off, trying to clear out that entire zone, and then they tossed a little screen pass to Galvin, but it's incomplete.
Did they call another timeout? I'm sorry, you're up 34-0.
Yeah.
And that's just kind of asinine, really.
Maybe they're operating under that age-old idea that you have to play one half. We at least get to do what we want to do for one half, right? That's true.
Oh, was it incomplete?
Yes.
I'm sorry. I thought he caught it, and Seth made the tackle right away.
3rd down and 10.
3rd down for the Panthers. Spread formation, and we get a whistle, and we get a penalty marker, and we get a delay of game. So that'll be 5 more yards. Maybe will you take a knee now and just get out of here?
Well, I'm surprised they're throwing the ball. Their running game is capable of ripping off.
Yeah, they can go. Yeah, it's a coin flip of whether you would run the ball or throw it to go 84 yards or whatever it is. 3rd and long, and they're going to run a quarterback keeper with George, and he will be brought down. Nice tackle by, once again, Seth Matsumoto. That'll end the first half of play. Orange High School here at Segerstrom High School leads by a score of 34-0. We'll be back with the second half after this short break.
Yeah, show your partner some love. Make some noise.
Welcome back to Segerstrom Stadium, where San Marino is playing Orange. I hope you all figured that out. San Marino down 35-0. They will get the ball to start the second half. This is Steve Talt. Mitch Lehman is quickly coming up the stairs. And number 76 will kick off. We have James Aguilera, and I think that Aguilera will get the ball. He drops it, looking for some rooms, and then slips. Another slip, Mitch, which has been happening a lot tonight. So San Marino will start with the ball inside the 20-yard line. It looks to be placed at, where are they going to place it? Let's ask for a measurement. They're going to place it at the
18-yard line.
Yep, 18-yard line or yard line?
Yard line.
Yard line.
So the Titans, as Steve said, will get the ball to begin the second half, down 34-0. And the Titans are in danger of falling under the auspices of the running clock, which we hope does not happen. And the way we can stop that is the score. So there's a handoff to Single up the middle, and he will be dropped for a gain of about a yard, or that might have been Karapetian, not sure. No, it was Prappus, as a matter of fact. So Michael Prappus, the ball carrier.
Prappus played, if you recall, early on in the season as a running back, and I think lost a little confidence as a result of some issues with fumbling the ball, and that's when Singal kind of stepped up and took the most of the running backs. But so, he's looking at next year, change some things up.
And he also has found some success at other positions aside from being the featured running back. And very good athlete is Michael Prappus. Throw by Short, and there's another slip, and that is the penalty, and that was Prappus. Prappus went down. Now we've got a basically
Don't do anything. Don't do anything, 75.
I see number 75 is involved in that. That, of course, is Steve's son.
He did not like what happened. He was pulled down from behind.
So Prappus slipped, and he was on his knees, and the whistle had blown, and he took a very, very late hit, and that's why Prappus was upset, and he got up and hit the guy that hit him, and then there was another fracas behind him. So we'll see what the officials mete out here.
Well, Glover
personal foul against Orange. Now we've got a personal foul against Orange, so double personal fouls against the Panthers.
Well, the first one was for the late hit. The second one was for grabbing number 75 Talt from behind and throwing him to the ground. And, to his credit, he didn't seem to get up and punch anybody, but I'm sure he had probably something intelligent to say.
I'm sure he did. And I'm sure, and what I hope they do is he'll probably let the anger out when he gets home. He'll probably hit you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
So,
now they're going to calm their team down.
Yeah, probably a smart thing to do to call a timeout.
Ladies and gentlemen, with this being the
And here's the other thing, Steve. Orange is going on to the second round. I mean, barring one of the bigger comebacks in the history of the CIF. And there are suspensions given out for if you get tossed out of the game. So their coach is going, really? For a 34-0 halftime lead, you're going to get thrown out of the next game. What are you talking about?
And that's actually from what I've seen, at least the way they play football, they're a very disciplined ball club. And for them to kind of lose that and do a late hit and then grab somebody else from behind. There's a team right now, and I forget who it was, that's suffering both the loss of their quarterback and the loss of a running back as a result of them being kicked out in the last minute of a game last week.
Man, that's got to hurt. Here's Short throws, and that is almost intercepted. Steve, number 4 jumped that route like he knew it was coming, and the ball looked like it was almost intended for him.
Yeah.
And then it was almost intercepted a second time after the ball was tipped. The ball hits the ground, and so San Marino will keep possession and face second down and 10.
Yeah, I mean, you throw that pass long enough or often enough, eventually that route is going to get jumped.
Second down.
Mavridis is in the slot position right
in the
now.
slot position, exactly. He wears number 2. Shotgun snap to Short. Handoff to Single, left tackle, and he will pick up about 3 yards, brought down at the 48-yard line, and that'll bring up 3rd down and 7.
That hole was there. We're just not hitting the hole crisp enough like we did last week and the previous week. So it's just it is. And if you delay a team that's got linebackers that sit far that back, they're going to come and fill that hole.
3rd down and long for the Titans. Clock runs. There are 10 minutes and 28 seconds left to play in quarter number 3, and San Marino trails by a score of 34-0 to the Orange Panthers. We're playing this game at Segerstrom High School, and I talked to their PA announcer during the halftime break, and I'll tell you what he said after this play. Short, looking this direction, fires, and that's incomplete, intended for Mavridis, and that'll bring up 4th down, and we'll see if Coach Mesa wants to kick or go for it here.
I think you're down 34-0. What do you have to lose?
I'd go for it.
Yeah.
So apparently Orange, El Medina, and 2 other schools play at a regional stadium near Orange, and it's being renovated at the cost of $25 million to renovate that stadium. So as he said, all of them had to find somewhere else to play. So they were lucky to get Segerstrom, and the reason they did, as you mentioned, is because Segerstrom has the away game with an 8-2 record. And I said, why don't they play at Orange? And he says they won't let them. There's a pass downfield intended for Grizel. Grizel went up above the 2 defenders, wasn't able to pull it down, and the Panthers will hold, and they'll take over on downs, 1st and 10 near midfield.
Yeah, that ball was thrown just a little too inside. You throw that on the outside, and Grizel has a better opportunity for that, but it was a nice pass, and Grizel fought hard. Just hung a little too long in the air also.
So Orange will have the ball moving from our right to our left with a 34-0 lead.
$25 million.
$25 million to upgrade a regional football stadium.
It was through a bond issue, or
I don't know. Penalty marker on the field, and they will. I think they're going to call that against San Marino offsides. That'll be a 5-yard penalty and bring up 1st and 5 for the Panthers.
Now, I heard at halftime that they thought both Hasibi and Seth Canal were too banged up to come back out in the second half, but obviously they're still there.
Yeah, man. They're seniors. I think you'd have to strap them to the goalpost to keep them from playing.
Especially those two. And Hasibi has struggled with a groin injury all season long, and Canal with a shoulder injury through part of the season, and Canal goes both ways a lot. So Yardy.
Gain is to the 47-yard line, and that'll bring up 2nd down and 5.
When you take a look at that team, that you got 3 seniors out there, 4 seniors on defense. 5, pardon me.
Handoff, and this is the second man through, and he gets a 2nd and 3rd effort, and he will be short of the 1st down. Tackle made by number 3, Christopher Leong. Also getting a part of it is number 15, Nick Single, and that's going to result in a 3rd down and a yard.
They came right to the line here.
Has Glover played defense at all this year, Steve?
No, he hasn't. It'll be interesting to see, as I told him, what they're going to do. Look at that downfield blocking.
And into the end zone and scoring for, that is Galvin. Touchdown, Orange, and that makes the score 40-0.
Well, and Cal High Prep estimated the score at 42-7.
Ooh!
So with Orange winning, but there was some excellent downfield blocking by number 2 on that, who also happens to be their long snapper.
So they're going to kick this one, and that is going to be good. Score now 41-0, and we'll see if they go to the running clock with a 35
plus point differential here in the second half. And if I were the Orange Panthers, I would want the running clock. I'd want to get out of here as quickly as possible.
Yeah, I would too. And with no injuries and nobody suspended for being an idiot.
Right.
And it'd be, you're going to want the seniors to play obviously as much as they can in their last game, but there's going to be opportunities now. You've got the big deal for next season. Who's going to play quarterback? You have two guys that are going to be competing for that job. Mavridi, who got some playing time this year when Short was injured. Kickoff goes into the end zone, and then you have Andrew Sutherland, and Andrew Sutherland came to the quarterback competition late. He's more of a pure passer, I think Mavridi is. Mavridi's more of a runner. They're both very competitive, and that's going to be where a lot of the competition is going to be there next year. Defensively, they're going to have to find some help because they've got on the line. You have some guys returning. They're going to have to find. If you take a look at their offensive line right now, they've got to find a tackle to take care of Uriarty. But then defensively, they're going to have to find a whole bunch of help.
Here's Short, and Short will keep it, and he will get out across the 20-yard line, gain of a couple yards, and then gain of a yard, rather, 2nd down and 9.
Yeah, that ball should have been passed off. They collapsed on him quickly. That hole kind of collapsed, and they got to try it a little bit more outside.
The good news is there hasn't been any orange powder thrown in about an hour of real time.
Now you're gonna blow it for us.
Uh-oh.
They're gonna just throw it for the hell of it. They didn't have any. Oh, look at how they're taking down that thing kind of folds down rather quickly. I guess they don't go out through it after a victory.
Yeah. Only they have to do it for a loss. Here's Short, wants to throw over the middle, intended for Prappus, and Prappus not able to hold on, and that'll bring up 3rd down.
Yeah, we've seen some drop balls tonight, and again,
sure have.
I don't know if it is the air, but it does look, at least from the way they're running the ball or running at times, it does look a little slippery. And that you had an earlier drop on what could have been a touchdown, and that ball was well thrown. It just wasn't handled.
So we are not on the running clock, apparently, I don't think. Otherwise it would have still been going based on the drop pass. So 7:54 to go. And there's a handoff to Single, and he goes around the left side, and he'll be tripped up short of the 1st down, and San Marino will be looking at 4th down again.
That right there is one of their longest running plays of the game. They got outside. He kicked it back. It looks like they are going to punt it.
Brings up a 4th down.
So Tron Grizel will drop into punt formation again. Clock running, 7:20 now left to go in the 3rd quarter. 41-0. Orange leads San Marino. First round playoff action in CIF Division 10. Good snap, and a better kick than his last one by Grizel, and that will go out of bounds. No, it doesn't. Stay in bounds. No, it went out of bounds at the 42-yard line. 1st down for the Panthers.
Gosh, what am I going to do next Friday night?
I know. Well, I got a little practice at not having a game the last 2 weeks, as a matter of fact.
Well, that's true.
Yeah, that's right. I was on a trip to the East Coast, and then
how
to
was
Florida
it? Why don't you tell us about your trip to the Coast Guard?
Went to the Coast Guard, so I was able to. I have wanted to see the Crowley boys and Mark Wick play football for the Coast Guard since they started there. And my goal was to go back last year so I could see Chip Crowley, Patrick Crowley, and Mark Wick. Chip was a senior last year. Chip graduated last year. However, I had a very, very busy fall, could not make it back there. So I never got to see Chip play. This year, however, I did go back And 2 weekends ago, I saw Coast Guard play MIT at the Coast Guard on one of the most beautiful days you'll ever see in your life. About 75 degrees. It was in Massachusetts, late October. Beautiful, beautiful leaves changing on the Mystic River. Absolutely stunning. So it's the most beautiful
It does
scene
look like a beautiful
you'll ever see. It's absolutely beautiful. As I said to a couple people, it is days like this where they take pictures of college campuses on the East Coast that end up in college counselors' rooms around the country because just all the fall foliage and whatever. So the Coast Guard lost to MIT by a score of, I think it was like 17-13 or something like that. Coast Guard had a chance to win the game late and could not put it in. Very, very good game by Patrick Crowley and by Mark Wick. Mark Wick and Patrick Crowley are the top 2 tacklers on the Coast Guard defense.
And Mark Wick is a captain of the team.
Mark Wick is a captain as well. He plays linebacker, kind of safety. Patrick is a cornerback, and Patrick is also the place kicker for the team.
Wait, Crowley has been a 4-year starter.
4-year starter for the Coast Guard as well. I did get to see Chip Crowley.
Good.
He came back for the game. He's stationed in Boston. He came for the game.
Oh,
and then that was on a Saturday. On Sunday, I was able to see Kelly Crowley, Patrick's twin sister, play soccer for Holy Cross. And I got a taste of that good old East Coast Midwestern weather, and I'm used to this being from Ohio, but it went from a 74-degree Chamber of Commerce postcard day. The very next day, it was 45 degrees and raining horizontally. So much so that they stopped the soccer game, which they almost never do. Kelly's game was stopped midway through the second half with Holy Cross ahead 1-0. They stopped the game. Lafayette was the team they were playing. Lafayette stayed overnight, and they restarted the game.
The whole game?
The whole game.
Even though you're up 1-0.
They can't do it. You either restart the game or you play it out. That's apparently one of the soccer rules. So I did not go back to that game. And then a dear friend of mine, who I was best man at his wedding 20 years ago. In fact, we held his bachelor party the night that O.J. Simpson was on the Slow Speed Chase. So my poor friend is getting married, and we've got all these gifts and these gag gifts for him, and we're all standing around saying, "Look at O.J."
Well, you were watching O.J. in the Laker game,
yeah,
if you remember
exactly.
that. Yeah, Laker championship game.
So I got to spend some time with him and his family, and that was really, really nice. Saw a couple friends of mine on the East Coast.
Another good 4th down stop by the Titans.
There we go. Saw a couple other friends on the East Coast. And then I flew to Florida for my mother's memorial service, and then I flew back from Florida. So instead of going from L.A. to New York, New York to L.A., and then L.A. to Florida, Florida to L.A., I just hopped down from New York City.
And that's a very nice trip. I know we had talked while you were gone, and your mother's memorial was very nice. And I got a glimpse of the dinner you had the night before.
Nice family dinner.
Yeah.
Our favorite restaurant in Naples, Florida.
McDonald's.
Yeah, exactly. It's got a big play structure, though. And so very, very nice trip, and really, really great to see some of these athletes that I saw play in San Marino so long. And to be able to see them play in college, it was great. And all of them did a great job. And all of them are outstanding. There's a nice pass to Grizel. And that's a first down for San Marino. Gain of about 18 yards on the play, and the Titans will snap it again. Nice throw by Short and a nice catch by Grizel.
And a penalty, I think number 1 was reacting. No, is it a no, let's see, here it is. Yeah, number 1 went over the sidelines and started to get in somebody's face right in front of the referee.
And a 15-yard penalty added on to an 18-yard gain for San Marino. But Steve, as I mentioned, great to see some of these kids, and all of them that I saw are excelling, by the way. Mark Wick, captain, either leading tackler or second leading tackler on the defense. Patrick Crowley, either the leading tackler or the second leading tackler on the team. Both of them are all conference academic as well.
No, I remember seeing that.
And then Kelly Crowley is a candidate for the Player of the Year in her conference as well, and is just a very, very, very good soccer player. She has been Conference Player of the Week twice already, including 2 weeks ago. So, and then also I was able to see Arthur Wick.
I was going to to say.
Arthur did not play tennis while I was there, but I was able to have lunch with him and have a nice long talk with Arthur. Arthur is a captain of the men's tennis team at the Coast Guard. So a very nice weekend to see all those folks.
And there were various family members also. The Wicks were back there. And
Crowleys live back there, actually have a home on the Mystic River. So, very, very nice to hang out with all of them. And other people in town as well for the game.
well, that's a nice trip, and you just missed a couple wins.
Yeah, and then ironically, Sunday night, the Browns were playing the Patriots right around the corner, and I thought about going over there, but did not. Here's the attendance, Steve. We had a bet on this. 41,679. Hard to believe.
Yeah.
Wow.
41,000.
And there it is up on the board, 41,671.
Yeah.
How nice.
I think they included the people also at the other games locally.
I think you're right. I think that's the entire CIF attendance for the night.
Well, I mentioned this, and we talked about it. I think last week the one highlight out of the game is the Titans had a 99.5-yard drive.
That's right.
And I think that might be a record of some sort.
Short back to throw, and he's going to take off and run. Short inside the 10, and Short is into the end zone for San Marino. Short with a little bit of a taunt as he crossed the line, and there's a penalty marker on the field as well. So this getting a little bit chippy.
Yeah,
I take it back. Getting very chippy.
When you're down 41-6, it's not really a time that you do that. But you don't know what type of crap he's put up with all the time. So,
and that is going to be a penalty on Short, so that will back San Marino up. I believe they will enforce that penalty on the kickoff.
Yes.
And the official was pointing downfield, indicating that. So Jordan Evans, after kicking off to start the game, is going to get a chance to warm up his leg again. Mavridis will hold. Kick is up by Evans, and that looks good, and it is.
I will have to say they were kind of quick on that crowd. We don't know what he said.
Yeah.
He might have said, wonderful attempt to try to tackle me, number 22, or something like that. Very gentlemanly, but the referees took it out of context.
Yeah, probably.
And then asked for a measurement.
Yes. The bad news is that moves us inside of the 35-point differential needed for the running clock, if in case that is the way it's handled here, and which would mean that we are going to be playing the entire fourth quarter under standard timing rules.
Well, I don't know. It doesn't. If it goes during the fourth quarter to 35 points, does that kick it in?
I don't know. I wish I could tell you. I don't know exactly what the
You think
rule
we'd
is.
know? We'd only been doing this for.
Yes.
Well, that's unfortunate.
So the penalty, as we said, will be walked off here on the kickoff. So Evans will kick it off from his own 25-yard line.
There was hilarious, speaking of questionable sportsmanlike conduct, in the game last week, near the end, San Marino was going for its 35th point or 34th point of the game, and Temple City we were on the 1 yard line. And Temple City was just mouthing off. Oh, no, not again.
And this is number 5, and he will take the ball all the way down inside the 30-yard line to about the 27-yard line. Big run back for Orange. Continue.
But Temple City was talking, just kind of like San Marino did. You're down by a whole bunch of points. You're frustrated. And you see Nick Derrick go to the line, and they're talking to Nick Derrick, and he gives the puppet hands, like the shark hands, saying, keep on chatting, boys.
Keep yapping, yep.
short field. Handoff goes to the right side. Seth Matsumoto, another fine tackle, this time for a loss of about 2.5 yards. So good read by Seth as he comes up and makes the play. He hasn't given up, Mitch.
Not at all. Adetoy, the ball carrier. That's going to be a loss of 3 yards and bring up 2nd down and 13. Nice play by Matsumoto.
Now, is this area part of a newer development?
I don't know.
Because I know the school is new.
Yeah, it is. And I'm not real familiar with this area. In fact, Will Slocum, our spotter, we weren't sure if we were heading to Segerstrom High School or the Segerstrom Performing Arts Center. But luckily, we did make it to the high school. Here's a handoff and another nice defensive play by the Titans. Nick Single at the bottom of the pile. Also there is number 13, Johannes Zerahan. I take that back, Matsumoto. Loss of another yard. That brings up 3rd and 14.
Titans playing a little more swarming that way, or that play, I should say, or that way.
Have to wonder if they're not going to soften them up with a pass here. And they're going to run it to this direction. And coming up to make the tackle is number 24. That is Jackson Heron. Number 16, Seth Matsumoto, also in on the play. You know, I said this about Matsumoto 10 years ago, I think it was, when Oliver Campbell played for San Marino and played linebacker for San Marino. I remember that when I was doing PA announcing, if I didn't know who made the tackle, I just said Oliver Campbell. And I was right about, I don't know if I was ever wrong, as a matter of fact. And I remember one time there was a play way downfield and I couldn't tell who it was. And I said, tackle made by Oliver Campbell. And I go, boy, that one's going to come back and bite me because it's way downfield. And lo and behold, Oliver Campbell pops up. But it's reaching the point, well, his season is over now, but it reached the point where Seth Matsumoto was the exact same guy.
Yeah.
Whereas I could almost just say Seth Matsumoto went on the play, and if it was within 20 yards of the line of scrimmage, it was going to be correct.
Seth does an excellent job reading the run and reading where they're going to the run, and he's able to fight the edge. He'll get up and make a tackle on the outside, and he'll come out of nowhere. It just, bam, it happens.
Tough kid. What I like about him the most is he plays volleyball as well.
Oh.
A very different, not a lot of guys play football and volleyball.
No. A guy I played with, the quarterback for the Titans back in '74.
No, I said football players, not quarterbacks.
Eric Anderson.
Myself, one of those quarterbacks / volleyball players, so believe me, I know that's about it. And there's a pass complete to Michael Prappis, and Prappis is taken out of bounds after a gain of about 7 yards.
Well, now they must have not. He must not have been out of bounds because the clock is continuing to run. Tough way to go out, coming down here and having your hat handed to you. Early on, we knew we were in trouble with that return, opening kickoff for a return, and then the first drive we had just laden with penalties.
San Marino actually has battled well, considering we were down 16-0, correct? After about 3 minutes into the game. So since that point, San Marino's actually made a couple stops defensively, gotten some first downs. So no shame in this ball game.
No.
I see us do a lot better, but no shame in this at all.
Well, and you know, there have been opportunities that have been missed, and really I don't know if it was nerves because the team is really young, but they came out and made a lot of mistakes early on, and they do have a young team, at least on offense. On defense, it edges a little older.
Clock continues to run. 33 seconds left to go in the third quarter. Orange leads by a score of 41-7. Titans with 3 wide receivers to the bottom of your screen. Here's Short looking downfield. Has a man. It is Grizel, and Grizel unable to hold on to it, but that is going to be interference against the Panthers. And Grizel has a little bit of finally like about time as he gives a round of applause to the officials.
Yeah, they were playing him awfully tight, and he had a step and a half, but he had to slow down. But Tron's got such long legs. He strides out there, and
that pass was a little bit underthrown.
Right.
21 seconds now left to go. It's a 15-yard penalty. It's not a spot foul like it is in professional football. That'll move the ball to the 44-yard line, and the Titans will have it 1st and 10.
Ball will be placed at the 44-yard line.
Steve, what's Glover going to do in the winter? Does he play a winter sport?
No, he does not. He will start getting ready for shot put, get back in the weight room, focus on his studies, and basically and empty the trash around the house.
One Talt member is going beyond tonight, and that is Peyton Talt, who runs cross country. The Lady Titans finished 3rd in the Rio Hondo League yesterday in beautiful Lacey Park, and so they will move along. Peyton ran a nice race.
Got to get this off. Yeah, he didn't get it off.
I got a good picture of Peyton, and you'll like it because there's a nice picture of Peyton, and you can see a girl from La Cañada behind her.
Oh,
yeah. I'm sure that's going to go right in the Talt.
Yeah, that girl came back and beat her.
Oh.
And so I didn't talk to Peyton last night at all. No, she did come up and step her up, but Peyton ended up placing 12th, made second team All-League as a result.
Good.
And she's improved her time, and that was actually her best time at Lacey Park. She somehow struggles at Lacey Park. She does really well. She did great the previous weekend at Mount Sac, which is a very difficult course. So she is very happy and is looking forward to continuing running. She's not going to play softball this year. She's going to focus on running, and she's going to run long distance track.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
And as I understand it, Thayer will also be participating in track this year.
So that is our Talt update for the week. There you go. So the spring's gonna be nice. You'll know where they're all in the same place, right? Very good.
And you know, track's not like football or volleyball or even cross country in that regard.
Yeah. A nice sport track is, very casual. Throw by Short, and that is complete to Grizel, and Grizel very close to yet another first down for the Titans. That'll be marked at the 35-yard line, and that'll be 2nd down and less than a yard. Titans getting a little momentum here. And that ends the 3rd quarter. Score at the end of 3, Orange 41 and San Marino 7.
Now, I would have expected Orange, being an Orange County team, to do that. 4th quarter's our quarter, but they have not. Ohio State, number 1 in the nation. Now, that didn't shock me, but it surprised me a bit, given that Alabama and LSU were kind of bouncing off in some of in the AP poll, and then the first standings come out, and they're number 1.
Hard to believe, and another part of that first release of the playoff committee was that all Clemson has done is win, and they are outside of the top 4. But I think what the knowledge is that, you know, LSU and Alabama, one of them will be knocked out possibly, and that will make it convenient to bring Clemson back into the top 4. I don't know.
Well, and Penn State's got to go to Minnesota, and that's a tough game right there.
And they play Ohio State as well.
Yeah.
However, Ohio State got bad news today that their best defensive player, Chase Young is his name, is ineligible indefinitely because they're investigating some kind of a loan he got from a relative apparently a couple years ago. So, but what I liked somebody said was that that all 4 teams in front of Clemson has beaten them the last time they played them. So they beat Ohio State, Alabama, LSU. So that's maybe a little bit of disrespect, but they've not looked real good. Clemson hasn't either.
Well, Lawrence is struggled a little bit in his sophomore year, but not so much that I thought that he's not going to recover from that and end up playing well.
Short with a short run, but it does give San Marino a first down. Titans have it 1st and 10. Hand off to Single, and he's caught in the backfield for no gain. He is able to work his way back to the line of scrimmage with some solid effort, and that'll bring up 2nd down and 10.
Yeah, they got through our offensive line. They all like to do the swim move, and they do it very effectively. And San Marino really hasn't seen it much this year. And quite frankly, I didn't see that much on the tape either that I saw. So, but they do a very good job. The nose guard, the 2 tackles, all do a very good job because they're not that big. Look at them.
No, not at all. They are not a big team.
No,
that was very surprising. I was standing near the snack bar when they walked out before the game, and I was amazed at how less than large they are. I won't say small, but they're not a very, very big team. Single now lined up near far left. Short steps up in the pocket. Temporarily, I will say, and he will be brought down for a loss of about 4 yards. They call that a quarterback keeper. Short on the quarterback keeper.
Well, he tucked the ball.
He wanted to keep his life, I think.
Yeah.
So that'll be a loss of about 3 yards and bring up 3rd and 13.
And that was actually a coverage sack. Where's the juice box?
The juice box is out of the box. The
oh
box
my
is
gosh!
right below us.
Empty.
I noticed that all these people have got the juice box written on the back of their shirts. It's like he's got a fan club.
Oh well, orange juice.
So the juice box is some kind of a.
It's got the nutritional value in the back.
Right. All sorts of information. Shotgun snap to Short over the middle. Incomplete. Mavridis, I love Nico, but if one of your receivers dropped that, you'd be all over. No, I'm big fan of Nico Mavridis. I'm kidding. Nico took over for quarterback. Took over at quarterback when Short was injured earlier, and he was unable to hang on to that little pass over the middle.
He actually got our first win, as I recall. Was he quarterbacking at Bell Gardens?
I like Nico. Nico's got a very, very good attitude about sports. He's only a sophomore. And what else I like about him is look how he's not afraid to play anywhere else.
No.
Plays defensive back. He plays wide receiver, running back kicks. I just really like the fact that he wants to help out a team. A lot of quarterbacks don't like to do that. It's quarterback or nothing for them. Not Nico Mavridis, willing to play any other position. I really admire that. Snap to Short, and he throws. The ball was a little bit behind Grizel, and they're going to say that it's incomplete. Short took a shot, and that will give the ball back to Orange on downs.
It's like Glazier. Which Glazier was it? That was a quarterback, and they went with somebody else, and he said, "Let me play, coach." And they moved him in defensively and actually had a great year.
Well, let's point out which Glazier that is. Second Lieutenant United States Marine Corps, Garrett Glazier.
It was Garrett, okay.
So you have to that's his mentality was, what can I do next? And I'll never forget that. I wrote a story about that.
Okay.
I think the story was called Next Man Up. But I remember talking to Mike Hobby about it, and Hobby said that Garrett Glazier was a starting quarterback the year before. Garrett Glazier suffered a very serious shoulder injury in the first or second game of the year when he did not slide. So he took off on a run and a very serious shoulder injury. When he came back the next year, Matt Wofford, I believe, was quarterback, and Glazier was kind of relegated to second string duty. He went to Mike Hobby and said, "Coach, I know that you don't have plans for me for quarterback, and I will gladly work to be a backup, but is there somewhere else on the field that I can help the team?" And Hobby pointed him to defensive back, and he became an outstanding defensive back, if I remember correctly. And I remember Mike Hobby said, that this is such an era where kids want just what they want. And for someone to come to him and say, "What can I do to help the team?" that is a very, very rare sort of an attitude these days. And Steve is pointing to the field. We do have an injury timeout. We'll let you know who that is.
It looks to be Seth Masamuto, who, as we've mentioned earlier, has played his heart out again tonight.
Once again, we're very thankful to Segerstrom High School for allowing us to use their beautiful.
He seems to be.
We don't want to leave it a mess. We thank you.
Oh, he's cramping. That's always a good sign. I mean, it's a bad sign, but when they grab that leg and start to loosen that up.
50-50 tickets.
Where was the 50-50 ticket,
I think
Steve?
he's kidding. He's got to be kidding. I don't remember seeing it. I heard them doing the CIF announcements.
Yeah,
and I was, which I know that you love to do when we're there, and it's Ford who does a fabulous job supporting CIF. But the one that always gets me is the prison guards.
Prison Guards Union.
Yeah,
I
and,
love
and
that one.
depending upon the team you say, I think they come out here and scout for the prison guard
I think
team.
you might be right. That's right. So that is Seth Matsumoto, who's, and as Steve said, good to see him only being stretched out for a cramp, and
Yeah.
Seth Matsumoto is back up. And I don't think that's the last we've seen of Seth. I guarantee you he'll make another performance tonight.
The
701 483. 701 483.
now, see, I don't see anybody looking for a ticket, looking at their
Is it
ticket.
a goof?
No, there is a ticket. No, I guess not.
Okay, good.
Come up to the platform by the elevator.
8:45 to go in the ball game. Handoff, and nice tackle made by number 4, James Aguilera.
Who came in for Seth?
Ball carrier
That's
for the
right.
Panthers. Tackle made by number 4, James Aguilera.
Gain is to the 46-yard line, and that'll bring up second down and about 4.
Gain of 6 yards.
Now, what they do these days is, in order to relieve the cramp, they give them either pickle juice or mustard.
That's what I understand.
Yeah,
That's right.
and someone was telling me that.
No salt tablets? Every trainer between 1955 and 1975
Yeah.
is probably still fearing a lawsuit from giving salt tablets to people.
I think my heart condition was caused by that.
Unhealthy thing in the world.
Yeah.
I like to laugh at that. Well, you know, it's amazing. And I'm not just saying this because it's Ohio State, but I remember watching a football game in the early 80s, and they talked about how Ohio State had come to this revolutionary understanding that you should give your athletes water constantly. And there's a running play that'll get another first down for the Panthers, and Seth Matsumoto in on the tackle, so he is right back in the game. But Ohio State, and I remember them showing the trainers, like, forcing people to drink. And so, you know, of course it would have been somebody else if it wasn't Ohio State, but they understood that all of a sudden it became like, you got to drink water more than you even want to. And of course that's now the norm in all of sports, is to constantly rehydrate.
And that's how Gatorade got
Right.
developed also. Gatorade comes out of Florida, from the University of Florida, developed it for the football team. And they called it Gator because it's a Florida Gator.
Right. And very heavy in sodium. back
Oh,
in the
my
day. I think
gosh.
there's a lot less now, but I remember drinking it and going, holy smokes. And here's a handoff and a nice play by the Titan defense. I see Karusha Sebi, number 72, in on the play. Editoy, the ball carrier. Seth Canule, number 74, also in on the play. And who's number 50 for San Marino? That's
Uriarte,
Uriarte, I believe.
Yeah.
Gain of 2 yards. That'll bring up second down and 8.
He seems to be a little banged up too. You've got 1, 2, 3 seniors on that line right there standing next to each other, their last games.
6 minutes and 22 seconds left to go in the contest, and Orange leads by a score of 41-7. I like those helmets that Orange that has. Very, very nice.
Like San Marino's helmets back in 2015.
Yes. Here's Edikoy, and look at the cramping Seth Matsumoto. Makes yet another tackle for the Titans.
Yeah, he must have had the pickle juice.
Yeah, I think he
And
did.
not just the mustard. Apparently the pickle juice or the mustard sets something off in the brain.
Really?
The taste sets something off and relaxes whatever the cramping is.
Clock continues to run. 5 minutes and 25 seconds left to go in the ball game. Handoff, and it looks like an open lane to the end zone, and it is touchdown Orange. Rivera with a touchdown run of about 33 yards for the Panthers. Moves the score to 47-7.
They will go for one. Big old 76 runs out there. They don't play the fight song as well as
Too
Titan
slow.
marching band. Yeah.
Too slow. So growing up a Cleveland Browns fan, their kicker reminds me of Lou Groza, who wore
my
number
gosh,
76 as well, and also played. He was an all-league offensive tackle, I believe, as well as being the kicker, and of course kicked straight on with that squared-toed shoe, and the kick is good by Lou Groza, and that makes the score Orange 47 and San Marino 7.
And who was the quarterback that also kicked for the Raiders?
My hero, George Blanda.
Oh, George Blanda,
Played
yeah.
in the NFL until he was 49
Oh
years
my
old.
gosh.
And didn't just wasn't just suited up, play.
No,
And
yeah.
I remember him coming in at like the age of 45 and 46 and throwing touchdown passes against the Kansas City Chiefs and other, quality teams. I love George Blanda.
How much salt do you think he had to take during his career?
He had salt and pepper hair. I remember that.
Well, yes, certainly by the end of his campaign.
48-7, Orange leads.
And he only played for the Raiders. I don't think he played for anybody else.
I don't want to be a contrarian. I think he played I think early in his career for the Houston Oilers.
Oh,
I believe.
something?
Here's James Aguilera from about the 5-yard line, reverses his field, and he is going to be brought down hard at the 15-yard line.
James Aguilera on the run back.
And the only question is there going to be a scuffle now?
Yeah, no, he gets up.
Okay, very good. And is escorted off the field by his teammate Jackson Heron. And now I think we've got the running clock. 4 minutes and 30 seconds left to go in the contest. Orange leads by a score of 48-7.
That's actually good because it's 9-11. That means, see, we just have time to catch our plane home.
There you go, exactly.
Well, it's been a tough season, but the Titans did make a turnaround, in league.
Got to give them a lot of credit, and finishing second in league all by themselves. And boy, Steve, you can just see the enthusiasm of the team when you beat La Cañada and South Pass back to back.
Yeah.
I mean that's just makes the year right there.
Well, it did, and they came out with a desire, and I looked at some of those scores that were anticipated in those games, and they expected them to lose to South Pass, and they went out and beat South Pass. They expected a close game against La Cañada, and they went out and creamed La Cañada. But the Titans deserved being the underdog in some of those games, given their record going into those.
Short will take a drop back. Had a man over the middle. Now Short's going to run. Is he behind the line of scrimmage? Not sure. Pass is complete to Sutherland. And the officials are going to keep their flags in the pocket and say that Short did a masterful job of staying behind the line of scrimmage and completes the pass to Andy Sutherland for another first down for San Marino.
Sutherland, the last outlet, he just went and sat along the sidelines. I always like that, especially with the clock running down when you get that receiver that is kind of silently sits by the sidelines. It doesn't matter because they are running the clock at this point, but
Short again, right side, looking for somebody over there. That's incomplete. And that'll bring up third down. Brendan Long, number 25, the intended receiver. Somebody else was in that pattern.
we think
Can't see who it was.
it looks like Andy Sutherland.
It is Sutherland. Brendan Long, just a sophomore, getting a lot of playing time.
He has, and he's actually surprised me. He's played decent on defense, coming in after a lot of the injuries to Johnny Q and Sam Fu. And he actually came in and has played rather solidly. Well, you got Mavridis, you have Aguilera, you've got Prappis, you've got Cole Giles, you've got a lot of sophomores.
Pass complete to Single.
Sophomore as well.
A first
No,
down. I think he's a junior.
he is a
right?
junior. You're
Yeah.
right.
Number 15, Nick Single.
So first down for Single. Player for Orange had his helmet knocked off. So he'll have to take a quick break.
First down for the Titans.
A little over 1 minute left. And the career of Short. But there's only 8 seniors, I think.
Hasibi.
A CB, but on the
Canole.
line.
Go ahead.
You're already.
You're already.
Who else? Seth. Canole. The Seth.
Matsumoto, both
Yeah.
Seths. Yes. Christopher Leon.
yeah.
Thank you. And there's another slip, but the pass is caught by number 12.
Yeah.
That is Tron Grizel. Yeah, Johannes Zerhan. Will over here. Yaramati. Look
Yeah.
at Will just nailing them off over there one after another. Shannon, thanks for your help. Much appreciated. Our technician here tonight at Segerstrom High School. You got a nice little bus ride back on you for you, don't you? You're going to handle that okay? Are you on the bus with the team or the cheerleaders? What bus are you on? Is that a tolerable bus to be on? Pretty good? Okay. Could be the last play of the season, and it will be, I believe. And Short wants to throw, looking for Grizel. Wouldn't that be something if it went all the way? And Connor Short will end his career with about a 30-yard completion, and that will do it. Final score, Orange 48 and San Marino 7. Steve, your final thoughts on whatever you want to talk about.
Well, I would say that this team, with as young as it was, as few seniors, with a new coach, a skeleton staff, really came on and should be proud of their season, and also start looking forward. Now, I know I talked to David Erie. They said they're already beginning to look at a different schedule next year, so maybe we'll start off. But we've got a lot of sophomores and juniors, and so next year they're going to want to build on that. With Mesa having a whole year on his belt, I expect a lot more from next year's team.
We sure don't want to see this year's schedule again, that's for sure.
No.
Well, that'll do it for Shannon, for Will, for Steve. I'm Mitch Lehman. Thanks for watching. Final score, Orange 48, San Marino 7. Titans will wind up the year with a 4-7 record, but most importantly, a 3-1 record in the Rio Hondo League and a second place finish that earned us the CIF playoff game. Until 2020, thanks for watching.